This week's Snakes on a Plane audition takes us to the skies over Queens, New York. Local businessman Don Vito Corleone.
Michael, we had such high hopes for you. Governor Corleone, Senator Corleone, President Corleone. And look at you now. What have they done with my boy? Flight attendant Corleone, a gay man making $20,000 a year. And you have to deal with these snakes. How do you do it? Get a word to the pilot, okay? Make him an offer he can't refuse. I am fed up with these motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane.
Thank you. Thank you. Good night.
Oh, almost in time for Oscar season.
I wish I could say that I saw a minute of it, but I did not.
Oh. Are you
Stop
protesting
it, Godfather
something?
music. There we go. No, my goal is to be as clueless on the Oscars as I am on the Grammys. I don't know anybody on the Grammys, and now I know hardly anybody on the Oscars. And every year they have a different cause. You know, it's deaf people, or it's Asian women, or it's black women, or it's, you know, Jews in death camps. And, when they run out of causes and get back to storytelling, like with guys and gals and guns and stuff, give me a call.
All right.
Also, apropos of the Corleone family, I don't know whether I ever told you this story. I don't know how many times the two of you or anyone viewing this has ever accidentally almost been killed. But in the KFAN days, we shared in the promotion of a celebrity like Pro-Am golf tournament at Bear Path, the Jack Nicklaus course in Eden Prairie. And there was a reception afterwards. And the co-sponsor was a company called, you may remember this term from the Sopranos series, because Tony Soprano was asked what he did for a living, and he said Waste Management. So Waste Management was the co-sponsor, and the rumor for years, even at that time, was that Waste Management was mafia. So if I had been called on to come to the dais and try to say something funny, my plan was, given that my boss, his name was Mick Anselmo, I was going to get up there and say,
I stand here tonight in defense of my friend Michael Anselmo. If something horrible should befall him after our gathering tonight, if he should be hit by a bolt of lightning, I would blame someone in this room. I would be very angry. That said, on my grandchildren's souls, I will not break the peace we've made here today.
I know that if I'd been allowed to do that, I would have been killed immediately after the proceedings.
This is a Corleone full podcast today, isn't it?
So far.
So far.
A lot of things happened while you were gone.
Oh.
But before we get to that,
Fill
what
me
kind
in.
of letter grade would you attach to your trip?
Well, I'd have to give it probably rest, relaxation, food was all A's, but you know, there's always that side thing that are just kind of odd and strange. So I'll give it a B+.
Did you go through Charlotte both ways?
No, went through Chicago on the way. So Chicago right to Punta Cana, and then on the way home went to Charlotte, Dallas, and then home. Whew, that was a toughie.
Doesn't Punta Cana sound vaguely obscene?
A little, yeah. I
Like
have trouble saying it. If you hold on that first syllable for too long. Yeah.
Punta Cana. It sounds vaguely obscene, like some sort of Spanish pervert having a tantrum.
Puta is a Spanish swear word, so you got to be careful. It's punta. Punta is the correct terminology.
Whenever I hear about the Charlotte airport, it takes me back to an anecdote told by my former wife, who was a reporter at the time chasing some story in Charlotte. She found herself in the Charlotte airport in the days before 9/11, when anybody and his brother could show up at a gate for whatever reason. Right. And so she's at the gate of Charlotte airport in the 80s, and she sees a tiny baby, practically a newborn, being fed a bottle of dark liquid. And because she was a reporter, she was curious, and so she asked the young child bride or not, mother of the child, obviously feeding the baby the dark liquid, "What is that dark liquid you're feeding your baby?" And the woman turned to her and said, "Hope." So
Of course.
the baby was being fed Coca-Cola.
From a bottle.
One of the things that happened while you were gone was that the St. Paul Saints, my former employer, I was a public address announcer for them in 1994. It has finally changed hands after 30 years. And it brings to mind another story, one of the most cringy moments of my life. It's one of those Southwest Airlines commercials, "Want to get away" type deals. Remember that tagline where somebody
Yes.
does something cringy, like a goaltender kicks a ball into his own net and the guy says, "Want to get away?"
Correct.
So help me God, it's a true story. I'm in the public address booth at a Saints game on a Sunday afternoon. I had two chances of getting it right. The Saints had two black guys. One of the black guys hits a home run. And as he's about to round second base, I shout, "And there it is, ladies and gentlemen, a home run by," and I named the wrong black guy. Want to get away?
Gotta get away. Well, at least you
And
didn't say, "There's the black guy."
and he just like looked up at me over his shoulder as he went around the bases.
Gave you the
And I
finger.
cleared it up by the time he touched home plate.
Oh, yeah. So when we
One of the
thought he
games,
was going like this, praising the Lord, saying yes, he was actually doing this to you.
yeah, right. That could have been. I would have deserved it. But anyway, the Mike Veck and Bill Murray own St. Paul Saints. Are the ownership is changing hands. I've been watching some basketball today, the college basketball tournament.
Do you fill out a
And
bracket?
no, I did not. I just,
Okay.
I'll just root for UCLA all the way through. But I couldn't help. I was really listening to the Princeton game, thinking that one of the announcers would say, "Yeah, Princeton is so white. What's going on? Hashtag Princeton so white."
Do they still
But of
use the
course,
back?
no one did.
Is the
I'm
back
trying
door
to
still
create
their big play?
controversy wherever I go.
Mm-hmm. No, the office put out a pool. I was kind of pleasantly surprised. So we filled it out. Let's see how it goes. $20 to enter. Always gambling.
This coming Sunday is the 20th anniversary of the shock and awe bombing of Baghdad, where Baghdad just sat there and the United States bombed the crap out of it. Just, it was not even sporting. It was merciless. And the night it happened, the tournament was going on. And Tim French and I were at the Harmar Mall, Buffalo Wild Wings. And again, I'm a fairly creative person, but I'm not creative enough to make this up. A waitress was going from table to table asking, "War or basketball?" In other words, what do you want to see on the screen? War or basketball? Basketball or war? We have war and we have basketball. We only have so many screens. We can do all war. We can do all basketball. It's up to you, really. Some of the games are blowouts. Are about as interesting as seeing Baghdad bomb
Yeah.
indiscriminately. But 20 years, man, that happened during the tournament. And Tim French was alive, and I was there with him to watch it. So we had the best of both worlds. We had a screen with the war. We had a screen with the basketball. You should just go.
I love it. That's how they should do every sports bar, is have the war, the wars on one set of TV screens and all your basketball on the other.
I don't understand why we can't put together a tournament composed of all teams with only single-digit losses. So many of these teams have 10 or more losses. And it reminds me of these football teams, college football teams that are like 6-6 and get to go to bowls.
Oh yeah.
And the chances of an upset are very small.
Right.
When the talent is this lopsided.
There's a lot of Big Ten teams that are at 17-11, 18-12. Yeah, you're right. But then you got like Furman was 37, or we're 37-3. So does that weigh differently
Yeah.
because they're playing different opponents. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, also they were in, tiny conferences too. They hardly played anybody. A lot of these teams haven't played anyone like in the top 100. So how do you rate that as an odds maker? It's got to be a mystery.
exactly.
It occurs to me that I did see one scene or part of a scene from the Oscars. Apparently, Jimmy Kimmel went over to a table where, of all people, I really couldn't believe I was seeing this woman at the Oscars, this paragon of global moral virtue. Malala was there.
Yeah, third row.
So I'm watching this, and Trey's trying to make nice with Malala, and I'm thinking, did Gandhi ever go to the Oscars? Wouldn't that have been something if whoever the host was back then, Johnny Carson or Bob Hope before him, goes over to Gandhi's table? Hey, Gandhi, how's it going? I notice you're not eating much. What's happening?
What about Mother Teresa? Did she attend the Oscars?
Now you're going back probably to the 40s and 50s. I don't know that she would have made the trip from Calcutta.
I'm the silly one.
And yeah, you're supposed to be the straight man.
Yes.
But you know what? So many of the so-called tune-up votes, SAG awards, and all these other, ramp-up award shows leading up to the Oscars, you could see the pattern. You could see what was going to happen. And so,
oh yeah,
why watch it?
What was the one? Do they still have the 1 year John Mulaney and Nick Kroll hosted it? Do you remember that? It's gosh.
Oh, IFC Spirit Awards.
Exactly. That still exists.
They even won there. That's the one that they hold in the tent on the beach in Santa Monica. And Everything Everywhere All at Once won there also. So it's just there was just no drama, really, no pun intended.
Well, it's just like I feel was who hosted? Do you have any idea? Do you know? Did you see that one?
Oh boy, I don't.
Okay, the Nick
they
Kroll
were
one
pretty
was very funny.
They were pretty caustic with their humor. It was like, for the first time ever, the IFC Spirit Awards didn't even make it on the IFC channel.
Oh, brother.
You couldn't even find it.
No,
and so they said, oh, we're really we must be doing obscure films this year if we can't even get on our own channel. So now on to Cannes, and let's win there.
There you go.
Next week, what I have planned, by the way, is the first ever Bob and Kel CleverCast multiphasic exam. I don't know that you've ever been to Mayo Clinic preparing to be treated for anything, but they give you this exam to determine. I don't know whether it's to determine IQ or something, like genetic or hereditary or whatever. Okay. But it's it's stuff for which there are no right answers, but somehow they can still discern something about you that may come in handy for them information wise as they treat you for whatever you're there for. And it's questions like, when you go up steps, do you go up one step or two steps at a time? Is your home TV volume set on a number that is personally significant to you? In the absence of toilet paper, have you ever wiped your ass with a paper towel? That kind of thing.
That's what they give the NFL draft picks, don't they?
I've got my digression for that week already prepared. That I actually prefer a paper towel.
Oh, good.
For reasons that I won't go into.
I don't use either, so.
You don't use either?
That's me being silly again, sorry.
Oh, my God, man, you scared the hell out of me.
I've personally discovered the bidet lifestyle.
Oh, have you ever, Bob? Have you ever done the bidet?
We have one upstairs, and I've never used it. I'm concerned that talk about shock and awe. I'm concerned that I would
enjoy it too much?
Be blasted off into outer space. First one I ever saw was spring of '77, a hotel in the south of France, a tennis tournament there. I'd never seen one before. I'd led such a sheltered life, man. You wouldn't believe it. And so I'm going, what is this about? And so it's sitting right next to a toilet. So I'm thinking, well, that's a toilet. I know that. What is this? And I turn the crank, and this geezer goes straight up. This geezer of water, and go, what the hell is this about?
No, you're the geezer. It's a geyser.
Is this to wake me up in the morning? Am I supposed to hold my face over this? What's going on?
I saw my first one in Argentina, so that's I was late in life too. But
Did you know what it was when you saw it?
I washed up and went back in.
Here's how sheltered a life I led. I was in my 20s, off-camera announcer at an NBC affiliate TV station, and it was Christmas time, and a rare example of so-called wokeness for the late 60s, early 70s in Fort Worth, Texas. It says, Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah from all of us at Channel 5. I had never seen the word Hanukkah. So to an entire metroplex of viewers, here's another Southwest Airlines moment. Yes, I said, Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah from all of us at Channel 5.
Hanukkah.
And about 5 minutes later, a guy ducks his head into the announce booth and goes, I think it's Hanukkah. Oh, okay, thanks. Now you tell me. Seriously, I can't make this up. Happy
Wow.
Hanukkah.
I always thought you were the first woke guy. I mean, if there was wokeness, I thought you were that guy, the first one.
I am as courteous and as sensitive.
Yes.
You know, I've
A
got
gentle, caring lover.
my youngest daughter is transitioning to something. I don't know what it is, and I don't know. I've already told her that I'm not changing my pronouns for anybody. You know, it's a perfectly presentable language, thousands of years old. I owe everything that I am and have to that. And so, you know, if she wants to send me a dick pic, I will refer to her as he and him. Otherwise, she's still she and her. But she can refer to me as it, that, or those. It doesn't matter to me. I just want everybody to be happy with
Right.
whatever, you know, gender they settle on.
Love one another. That's right.
There you go. So simple. Golden
Yes.
rule.
Yes.
Golden shower.
Yes.
Yeah.
Golden shower.
Something else that happened here at the homestead while you were gone, I started getting texts from something that I thought was just a made-up deal for Seinfeld. Did you know that there is actually a J. Peterman store?
Yeah. I don't know.
You
I
remember
mean,
you remember the character J. Peterman on Seinfeld, played by John Hurley?
I always thought that was a real thing. It isn't?
No, it is a real thing. I've been
Okay.
getting texts from them. They want to sell me some clothes. They want to sell me some clothes through the mail. Well,
Oh,
you know my policy about sending stuff through the mail, including, you know, leavings via Cologuard. It's just not going to happen. And the same thing with clothes. But there is an actual J. Peterman company. I don't know that there is a guy, J. Peterman. But when I saw this, I'm going, oh my God. I started into my J. Peterman impersonation. Elaine, the English patient, is the sweeping saga of romance such as I've ever seen. If you don't like it, you're fired. You remember that episode?
I do. I remember all of them. So that was
Yeah.
Do you buy a
Jay
lot of
Peterman,
I'm trying to think, how did they get your name and all that information? Do you buy a lot of stuff online?
I'll tell you exactly where they get it from other companies.
Ah,
Like Land's End or J. Crew, or you know, any of these people, any of these companies that send clothes through the mail.
okay.
They all swap the information. You know, it's total invasion of privacy.
Is nothing sacred.
So you're going to be shocked to find out that I had some free time in the days that you were gone. So I put together a top 10 list among the general population, a top 10 list of excellent porn names
Okay.
for for adult film actors and actresses from the general celebrity population.
Can I just throw one out? Because this is an old one that you used years ago. Bobby Blue Gland. That was one of my favorites.
See, that's a fictitious adult film star.
Oh, okay.
Bobby
These are
Blue
real.
Gland and Sir Pants-a-Lot are examples of, adult film stars that don't exist.
Oh, okay. These are real.
Lyle the Human Sundial does not exist. But these people actually exist, and with their names, they can make a smooth transition, given, you know, assuming that they had the equipment.
Kind of the anti-Brad Newman.
Boy, I don't know. That I find it hard to utter his name in this context, because he's such a pro. And we have no guarantee that these people would, conduct themselves as professional adult film actors and actresses. They are as follows: Janet Yellen. You familiar with the financial lady, the federal board,
yeah.
or
Yeah.
whatever?
Department
Janet
of
Yellen,
Treasury.
because I'm sorry.
Department of Treasury. Head.
Thank you.
I
The professional golfer Paula Creamer, the Washington Post writer Dan Balz, Balz, the comedian Andy Dick, Broadway actor Harry Groener, the late actor comedian Wally Cox, the way late, I think Russian, I could be wrong about that, East European novelist Honoré de Balzac, the golfing announcer Frank Licklider, the chief executive officer, former CEO of National Enquirer, David Becker, and the relief pitcher Raleigh Fingers. Those are my top 10 porn names among the general population.
Can I add one? Who did they recently rename the Las Vegas airport for?
They named it for Harry Reid. Harry Reid, that's decent. Assuming his member is really skinny. Harry Reid, very good.
I
Hell,
learned from the best. I can
you're
sling.
killing me. When I say Honoré de Balzac, it reminds me of the days on the tennis tour when, boy, we're going back to late 70s here. Friends of mine and I would get on the house phones in those days before tech and whatever. They had a receptionist. You could do this. I would get on a house phone. I would secret myself away from the madding crowd. One time I had a perch that allowed me to do this prank and see Telly Savalas play blackjack next to one of Elliot Ness's Untouchables. I'll never forget that. But I would pick up the house phone. It would ring. The lady would answer, and I would go, "Yes, could you page Honoré de Balzac, please, to white courtesy phone?" Or I would do like Marcel Proust. Yes, Marcel Proust, please. And sure enough, you just wait like 7 seconds. Marcel Proust, please. And I'm thinking, there's got to be a college English professor here who's laughing his balls off.
You're past the Prince Albert in the can thing. You need to use some real
Ernest Hemingway, please. Yeah, it was a lot of laughs.
Silly.
I don't hear about anybody doing stuff like that anymore.
Not anymore.
It's like a lost art. I have a fake commercial to get out of the way.
Oh, please.
Please go.
If it ain't Baroque, don't fix it. Sponsors this portion of the Bob and Kel CleverCast. If it ain't Baroque, don't fix it has served the needs of Vienna classical music customers since the year 1750. We handle symphonies, concertos, sonatas, chamber music, quartets, and solo work in all formats from the Baroque period, from A to Z, Albinoni to Zubin Mehta. 100% satisfaction guaranteed, or your money Bach. Your money Bach, get it? We are also your Handel headquarters for Central Austria. Regardless of your religion, whether you worship Handel's Messiah or play for the Goldberg Variations team, if you get my drift, there's something for everyone. And if it ain't Baroque, don't fix it. And don't forget to ask us about our period instruments. If you buy today, and that's any CD, LP, MP3, cassette, open reel, or yes, 8-track tape, we have those too, you receive 10% off at our food truck parked in front of Sausages Stadium for the Vienna Sausages day-night doubleheader against Zurich this weekend. The German chocolate cake is melt in your mouth, and the schnitzel that's delivered fresh every morning next door in Nazi Germany is to die for. Nazi Germany, to die for, get it? Take the A23 to the Lieber Street exit in downtown Vienna, and you're there. If it ain't Baroque, don't fix it. Tell them Vivaldi sent you. I've done a little preparation. I don't know whether you can tell.
I can tell. You've got a lot to say today. That's great. I love it.
I think preparation can really make the podcast experience more vivid. I don't know whether you saw it. If you didn't, I'll refer you to it. It was published, I think, a couple of days ago in the New York Times, that women, when they're introduced to you, these are single women introduced to single men. When they're introduced to them as podcasters, they go, "Oh, nice knowing you." They don't want to. They don't have anything to do with podcasters. One woman told an anecdote about almost falling for a guy until he told her he was a podcast, and she listened to his podcast, and it was probably material just like this,
Of course.
foreign names and all kinds of ribald imagery, and it just sent her running for the hills.
Yeah,
Podcasters can't get arrested romantically these days.
She thinks this man can't keep a job. He has no scruples. I don't know. I get
Just
it.
get the girlfriend or the wife first, and then confide in them that you're a podcast.
I think that's safe.
Oh, so that's what you've been doing every Thursday afternoon for 45 minutes for the last 11 years.
It used
You
to be
asshole.
bowling. Used to go bowling on a Thursday night with the boys. Now it's podcasting.
You know what? That is the exact analogy that I drew last night in the argument I had here with my beloved about podcasting. This is the new bowling night, or whatever men snuck away to do, play golf, bet on cockfighting, that kind of thing.
Wait, you had an argument in the boudoir last night? What's happening?
No, I'm just making that up, Kel.
Oh,
None of this is
none of it's real.
None of this is.
I can't tell fact from fiction some days. I'm still jet lagged.
I've known you almost 20 years now, and most of that was spent in a professional capacity. I can't believe you haven't caught on yet. None of it is real.
Well, that's a Beatles line.
There was a Jeopardy episode several days ago, and it had the answer had something to do with Ho Chi Minh's tomb. He is being kept intact, so to speak, in the same way that Lenin, 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 is being kept intact in China. And I don't know whether I ever told you this or not, but at KSTP in the early 90s, as a prank, paying zero mind to the time difference between the two places where we were calling from, where we were calling Moscow, we called Lenin's tomb and got no answer. No one answered at Lenin's tomb. I don't know whether we were calling the front desk. I don't know how we got the number, actually. Whether we were calling the front desk or the gift shop or what it was, but nobody answered.
If someone had answered, would you have said, "Is Ernest Hemingway there?"
Ho Chi Minh, please. Ho Chi, would you? Ho Chi Minh, quite courtesy phone for a message, Mr. Minh. Just wonder if a person can still do that. I'm going to be in a hotel this coming weekend to see a play, or actually a musical, in another city, spending that night in a hotel. Oh no, I take it back. This was a casino. See, that's where the prank happened, was in the casino part of the hotel.
Okay.
But the hotel operator handled all the pages and whatnot. And, she's totally clueless. She'd never heard of any of these people. What if she had actually said, "Don't give me that shit. Honoré de Balzac. I read his book last week. He's not here. He's never going to come into Vegas. He plays Russian games in Russia, if he were alive." Also, I guess you saw that this cartel in Mexico that killed these people coming in from the United States.
Believe you me, I've thought about it a lot over the last week.
Have you ever been to Mexico?
No, but anything south of the border, I think there could be somebody out to get you.
I don't think there's a safe place in the whole country. But these people, as it turns out, did you hear why they crossed the border, why they risked their lives?
Why?
And 2 of them lost their lives? Some sort of cosmetic surgery for cheap, less than it would cost in the United States. The old people go over the northern border with Canada to get the prescription drugs cheaper.
Correct.
And then the southern border is used for the cosmetic procedures, apparently, the cheaper cosmetic procedures. 2 of them died. And then when the cartel realized what they'd done, guess what they did?
I think I know, but tell me.
Tell me. No, it's a quiz. Tell me.
They apologized, right?
They apologized. And I had a dream that night that I was at a Hallmark store, and the thing with the circle of cards was going around.
Yeah.
Grandfather's 80th, grandson's graduation, and there
baby's
was a tab that
baptism.
said Cartel apology.
Cartel apologies, you don't say.
A tab on the green. I thought it was funny at the time. It was actually more of like a New Yorker cartoon where you're not supposed to bust a gut laughing.
Or a Far Side one panel. I feel like that would make the most sense.
What do you think of that guy? What do you think of Gary Larson's former competitor, Scott Adams, with the Dilbert controversy? What do you think of that?
Well, they're speaking their mind these days. You can say what you want to say and face the wrath.
And that's what he did. He has no customers, as far as I know. Here is something that I saw on TV recently. I wanted to bring up with you. I could have done a major production about this. I could have done my Sigmund Freud impersonation and done a fake spot for this particular product.
Right.
But I see the new version of the product, which we've all heard of. We've all had these in our freezer. They're great for snacks at parties and whatnot. Have you seen the new TV commercial for a product called Hot Pockets?
I haven't seen it lately. I probably saw it in the 90s, but I haven't seen one lately.
Kurt, have you seen the new Hot Pockets commercial?
Not the new one, no.
Okay. So I'm watching this and I'm going, there's an image there that I recognize from roughly 50 years as a practicing heterosexual. I think I'll go online and see if I can capture that image and stand it up, for proper positioning for display on the podcast, and see if anyone will recognize this. So again, Sigmund Freud for Hot Pockets.
A bit of a picture.
Tell me what this looks like.
Oh dear.
That's the new Hot Pocket. I think Sigmund Freud would suggest that they put a little pimento or a shaved jalapeno circle at the top.
How would Siggy have said it?
I think they call that subliminal advertising.
This is Sigmund Freud for Hot Pockets. Tell me, is this pocket hot or what?
I always said that whole name sounded a little disturbing. Hot Pocket. Sounds like a medical problem or something. Yes, I'm sorry.
It's a pocket, and boy, is she hot. You can enjoy it with your fingers. You can put your face in it.
Oh.
You can bring up the Portnoy and plunger in there. Yeah, that's just.
You wonder why women don't like podcasters.
Here's. Well, what if it were some sort of ice cream that was shaped, some sort of phallus-like shape? I would have had to take a picture of that also.
Right. I mean, we live with hot dogs are out there at a ballpark. You have a hot dog. It looks like a penis.
This is man bites dog news. I'm sorry. So what I did was I captured the image from the online version of the commercial. I froze on the Hot Pocket itself. Have I shown you the image yet? Yes. And then I took a picture of it and I looked at it and I'm going, I thought I'd seen my last vagina given my age.
Yeah.
But apparently this is the last vagina I'm to ever see.
How long are you going to keep it on your phone before you delete it? Or is it there for eternity?
That is going to probably come up during the estate process. Can we get his phone just for memento's sake, just for sentimental reasons? And yes. I can see my girlfriend go, oh no, I couldn't possibly show you his phone. That would just ruin every good thing you ever thought about it. Yeah.
Amazing.
Hot Pockets.
Hot Pockets. Hey, so Kurt, what did you play last week for Best Of? Did you play a little old Bob and Kel? Is that what I heard?
Yeah, I did. It was from your podcast from 2006.
Did you tune in at all, Bob? I didn't. I should probably go back and listen to it.
I don't know whether I've ever told you this, but I have about as much interest in, first of all, the sound of my voice.
Me too.
Played back to me.
Mm-hmm.
And in my horrible attempts at humor played back to me. And especially if in this case he was 17 years old, that's not going to happen. So the short answer is no. I did not check out the 2006 podcast. And yet I'm told by a number of people It was pretty good.
Yeah, exactly. I don't doubt it. It's still, I still think of some old bits and it just makes me laugh. You singing Sukiyaki for some reason always makes me laugh when I'm in a
Well,
store.
and also if you'll remember, we were taping those at a venue in Little Canada, Minnesota.
Mhm.
And I would begin every podcast by singing the anthem, "Oh Little Canada."
I do remember that.
And then sometimes I would have Garrison Keeler just narrate it. "Oh Little Canada, our home and native land. Long may you wave," or whatever the hell. Yeah.
Yeah, those are the days.
Do you know of an earlier podcast than that? I don't.
No, I think
Most
we
of
were
your podcasters now who are former radio personalities, I just go, man, why do you want to mess with this?
right.
Well, you got a chance to really line up some leisure activities each day. Why do you have to continue to hear your voice in a professional or extroverted type capacity? I don't get it.
That's true.
So,
It's therapy, my friend. You said it yourself.
and apropos of all things professional and monetary, and my partner in the discussions that we get into, I received a few checks lately that were piling up that I needed to deposit. I think one was an insurance company, another one was like an oil and gas royalty or something like this.
Ooh,
My parents continue to provide for us from the grave.
that's great. We were
Anyway,
always hoping for that.
so here's the deal. It was raining cats and dogs because the weather here has sucked,
Mhm.
and I couldn't get out. I don't trust the other drivers not to smash into me. So I told her, I said, I'm going to deposit these on Monday. If I don't make it, will you deposit them for me? I just think that's the kind of thing that a person of my age range should be mindful of. Is if I don't last these 3 days, here's where these checks are, and you can deposit them and
So,
enjoy the money if I'm not here.
so when Friday rolls around, if I don't make it through the weekend, carry on without me.
Help me make it through the night. Chris Christopherson. I was thinking earlier this year, I might want to give myself as a post-Christmas gift a guitar.
Oh.
And I could start writing songs, but all the songs that I would write were just like Weird Al type spoof
Oh,
songs.
yeah.
One was instead of "Make Me Through the Night," it was "Help Me Stay Awake Till 9." And because that seems to be the goal now, is to help me. If you can help me stay awake till 9, I'm good for humor, for some lousy attempts at humor most of the day.
I remember when you wrote the popular parody for the Queen. The Queen, when you said when she was just 89 and she was really feeling it was tremendous. I love that.
I did that?
You did that, yes.
Boy, I don't remember this. This is like Ralph Edwards, "This Is Your Life" for a really old person.
I was on the floor laughing, as you can imagine.
You remember the song about the Queen?
to
Queen.
the tune of the Beatles song, when she was just 17.
I saw the movie The Queen with Helen Mirren at the Fairview. No, I'm sorry, the Grandview Theater in St. Paul. I was one of about 7 people in the audience, and about 30 seconds before the curtains parted, a family of 4 walked into the theater with a bag of groceries and basically said, "There he is. Let's go sit next to him." And that's exactly what they did.
Do they still have curtains at movie theaters?
They did it. This was whenever the Queen came out. I don't know.
Years
There have been
ago.
so many queens. There have been more queens on.
Oh, here we go.
No, I had a Castro Theater joke, and I thought, no, we have viewers and listeners in the greater San Francisco area, so
Yeah, that's not.
I don't want to alienate them.
I'll tell you, brought up Helen Mirren.
Because they play hardball. I don't know if you've noticed, short people and gay people, they play hardball.
Oh yeah.
When they have a hard on for you, they'll just cut your freaking head off. They don't mess around.
Yeah, be careful.
So we need to stay on their good side.
Steps.
Will you make a note
Stepfather.
of this to yourself on like a post-it note and
Okay.
put it right here
Where's my
on
pen?
your,
Okay.
be nice to gay people and short people.
Short.
I really don't know how Randy Newman survived the popularity of the song Short People. Man, they just,
Are short people the same as little people? Is that what that's the
no, I don't mean dwarves. I don't
Okay.
mean like vertically challenged people. I mean just regular sized people who are shorter than you. Let me
Oh,
put it that way.
okay.
Shorter than you, that would be short. You got to admit that.
Yeah, I'm a short guy.
No, you're not short, but anyone shorter than you would really be short. Don't make me get short with you.
Oh, but I digress.
Oh, let me tell you about my microwave complaint. That I don't know whether you ever saw the word, not to be confused with Portnoy's complaint, but you ever see a movie with Ben Stiller called Greenberg, where
Yeah,
his character was so eccentric that the least little thing that would set him off, he'd sit down and hand write a complaint to the company, like Starbucks or something,
sure.
and send it to them like it was really going to accomplish something, right?
Hmm.
So I put a half cup of coffee in the microwave, and for some reason, their 3-minute button is right next to their 30-second button. Well, you can guess which one I hit, and you can guess what it sounded like when the cup of coffee exploded. So I went immediately to my laptop, and I found the customer service email for GE, for General Electric, and I said, "You sons of bitches, you put your 3-minute button next to the 30-second button. My coffee has exploded, and I put this in boldface caps, and it's all your fault." And lo and behold, like 2 days later, they responded, and they were very contrite, and they were so contrite. The font was really small. It was like they were really meek, you know. "We're sorry, we didn't realize we did that, and you find it in your heart to forgive us." And so I, sobered up a few days later and wrote them back, and I said, "Oh, I was just funning you. I was just doing. I have a podcast, see, and I need material. So thanks for helping me with that."
And they look down on you from there. Well, then you're a podcaster? What?
You've never had a problem with a microwave of any kind?
No, I try to be very careful. Don't put aluminum foil in the microwave. I know that for a fact. I mean, I suppose something overflows once in a while, but let it flow, baby. Come on now. It's
Are
just
you ever concerned that come Judgment Day, whoever checks you in there at the gate will say, "I guess you spent 11 years in front of the microwave waiting for it to stop." This is why I look away now when I find myself in front of a mirror urinating. I look away because I don't want to be called to account at the pearly gates for the amount, the number of years I spent looking at my penis. I guess you spent 11 years looking at your penis while you were urinating. I can't get over that.
Oh.
I'm going to have to.
Why do you have to look at it to urinate, Bob?
Well, what is it? What else is there to look at that's in any way interesting? You're in a restroom. You don't find the concept of a liquid spilling from an area of your body to be in any way interesting?
I feel like you've seen it once. You've seen it all.
Oh, I didn't tell you this. This is like the story of stories.
The story.
I met a woman. This was last year. I was in the Twin Cities. I met a woman. I knew her, but I had not had an in-depth conversation with her about stuff about our personal backstories and whatnot. I remember exactly where we were when I heard this. We were headed out of the Dunn Brothers Coffee at Snelling and Grand. I was visiting the Twin Cities, okay? And she told me that because her mother had taken thalidomide in the late 50s, early 60s, that she was born with 2 vaginas. But the condition was corrected at birth. And I'm thinking, boy, you couldn't depend on me. You couldn't depend on me to get that corrected. I would probably take the doctor aside and say, "Doc, the missus and I have discussed this, but we want our daughter to be popular. So what do you say we just give this some time? Let's see how it shakes out." But what 20, 25 years into the future, the poor man who marries her,
Well,
they're keeping each other.
I mean, what are the Romeo and Juliet where she meets the man of her dreams and
Yep.
and he has two?
Opens herself to him on the bed for the first time because they're keeping each other chaste till the wedding night. And all of a sudden it becomes an eeny, meeny, miny, mo situation.
That'd be a
Door
good
one or door
first
number
Miss Warren
two?
flick.
Oh my God. I can't write this stuff. This stuff keeps happening to me. People tell me anything. I think it may be because of the white hair. They tell me anything and expect me to believe it. I was at a let's see, Patrick's Roadhouse on Pacific Coast Highway. I ordered wheat toast with my breakfast. The woman brings me pumpernickel, I swear to God. And I said, I thought I ordered wheat. So here's what she says. Oh, that's wheat, and walks away. And I'm just, my jaw's down here. It's not wheat, it's pumpernickel. You just told me it was wheat. You expect me to believe that it's wheat? It's black. Wheat isn't black. This is pumpernickel.
Well, maybe she was burnt. Maybe it was wheat, but she burnt it.
When I was in the hospital last June, a nurse tried to tell me that Flomax, Tamsulosin, I know all the prescription drugs by their
You
generic
do.
and their
I'm fascinated how well you know those words. I hear them on television and I instantly forget them. You store them in your memory bank.
Yeah. Well, that's because I'm taking one every 2 hours or something, plus vitamins. But this nurse tried to tell me, oh no, Flomax is to make you urinate. And I said, well, my doctor says it's to keep me from urinating in the night so I don't have to get up so often. Oh no, it's to make you urinate. And I'm just going, people will tell me anything. Why is that? Is it because my hair is white?
I guess that's just
I can't
insane.
get that kind of attention in a tech store like a Best Buy or a T-Mobile store. You walk in with white hair and they just scatter like cats under flashlights,
Hmm.
You can't get help. I really think that white hair is the new black skin. I really think that we're
Oh,
being
jeez.
discriminated against
You're
here in some
being
way.
persecuted.
Exactly. Do I sound like I have a persecution complex?
A little bit.
But I'm the woke dude. I forgive everyone everything, but this is where I draw the line.
Fascinating. I saw another of your doppelgangers last week.
You're kidding me.
No, but this was a different one. He was much taller than you. So imagine
It sounds like we may need to have a reunion or something.
I know. He was a professional wrestler looking guy. Imagine yourself, but bulked up, maybe a good foot taller with a red mohawk. But he had the white beard, he had the glasses, and and the kind of the longer the white hair. It was fascinating. It was like if you bulked up on some sort of steroid.
Did you see that Ventura showed up at some sort of state of Minnesota government hearing the other day?
Oh no.
Had something to do with cannabis. Anyway, he's got about 4 hairs left in his head, and they're all about 4 feet long. And it's just a horrible look. Just horrible.
He's a nut.
I keep thinking that if there's a doorbell rings, he'll do like Jed Clampett. The Jed Clampett of White Bear Lake, if in fact he's still living there, or Delwood or wherever.
Crazy.
Kurt's beginning to fidget. Are we done for the day, for the week, Kurt?
We could be. I'm trying to figure.
He got the hook. It's called the hook.
Okay,
Kurt's the
if
hook.
you don't mind, and assuming you agree with me, I would like for the tagline for this episode to be, "Hi, it's Sigmund Freud for Hot Pockets."
Write that down.
I think
underline it.
I think that's a lot less frightening than all last year. I think the most terrifying 5 words in all of television were, "Hey, folks, Joe Namath here," because he was always, trying to sell you some sort of Medicare thing or something.
Can you sing us off with a little sukiyaki?
Ooh, yeah, Idaho, nahi na kobole na yohoni, kobahita sa na enohi. Oh, what I wouldn't give for a bowl of sukiyaki. Dan, 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 Dan.
I love that
Q
song.
Sakamoto, Sukiyaki Fever, catch it, and we'll talk to you next week.
Good day, this is a fake AI lady with an important announcement. Originating from rural Twin Cities and big city Los Angeles, gracing your podcast platform since 2023. The Bob and Kel CleverCast starring Kurt is a podcast with pictures and the picture of consistency. Each week, our hosts discuss Bob Yates's latest obsessions, such as cultural trends that Bob finds abhorrent, government positions that Bob opposes, sexual positions that Bob has copyrighted, books, movies and TV programs that Bob recommends, overrated celebrities who have made Bob physically ill. No, it's not all about Bob. Kel Gradke is the intelligent foil for Bob's runaway rantings and ravings, especially the ravings. Executive producer Kurt handles the tech and runs the show with an iron hand. The one he used to great effect in winning a UFC heavyweight championship. Last but not least, consumers of the Jewish persuasion can rest assured that each edition in the series is hella kosher. Blessed behind the scenes by a rabbi to be named later. So what the fuck are you waiting for? Get strapped in, buckled up and logged on for the next CleverCast. Tell Bob, Kel and Kurt sent ya. Please look for Bob and Kel CleverCast on Patreon and make a donation to help keep the lights on around here. Thanks for your patronage.